We are only 2 days into the January transfer window, and the amount of players right now being linked around Europe is honestly insane. According to reports, Arsenal are prepared to battle Manchester United for Matthias Cunha. And do you know what's funny? I said a couple of days ago, looking at what Arsenal need objectively and taking bias and emotion out of it and thinking logically, Cunha would be such a good signing for them. He can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can play as a second striker. His goal record's very good. Marcus Rashford as well is considered by Arsenal as a transfer option, and Arsenal are leading the queue for Dani Olmo. Dani Olmo, I'm telling you guys now, either Arsenal or Liverpool or even Chelsea would absolutely cook. Can play in the final third, can play as a number 10. We've got so much to get into. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video if you haven't already. If we could hit 350 likes, that would be absolutely glorious. Make sure you have hit the subscribe button. 88% of everyone who watches this channel is not subscribed. So go down, hit that subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts on all of the topics down below. I'll try and get through as many comments as I can. But we are steamrolling our way towards 40K. We are less than 4,000 away now. Trying to hit that before the end of the month. Bit ambitious, but it's better to be optimistic. We'll start with the big news regarding Marcus Rashford. Now, there's actually quite a lot of Arsenal news to get through, so it may be a bit of a longer transfer update. I'll try and get through it as quick as I can, but make sure you let me know your comments down below. Now, according to the London Standard? They're normally pretty good with transfer updates. It says Arsenal will consider Marcus Rashford a transfer option. Now, Fabrizio Romano has come out on a number of occasions and said that Marcus Rashford is no longer part of the plans at Manchester United. Arsenal have considered Marcus Rashford a potential transfer option this month, reports suggest. Now, I've spoken about him a number of times, linking him to Arsenal and teams abroad. His wages are very, very, very high, right? And you're talking about a guy right now that is 27 years of age at a club in a toxic environment for him. Does a new environment get Marcus Rashford back? I'm not necessarily sure. If you go through his seasons, very inconsistent. They've already got someone similar to Rashford in Raheem Sterling who wants to try and reignite his career elsewhere. Apologies for the advert. Try and reignite his career elsewhere. I think it's too much of a gamble looking at this objectively for Arsenal on Marcus Rashford. The report says the England forward could leave Man United this transfer window after being dropped by new manager Ruben Amorim and publicly expressed a desire for a new challenge. The question of where Rashford could go in the biggest in January, the Football Transfer is claiming that Arsenal have briefly considered a permanent move for his services. However, they add that such a deal is considerably high improbable as things stand. I do think he will leave this window, but I'm uncertain if it's going to be to Arsenal. There's a lot of factors in this deal. One, the wages. His wages are very, very high. Two, there's a huge gamble in terms of would he actually perform at Arsenal? Where would his best position be at Arsenal? And would he actually take the... I think he would join Arsenal, to be honest, but there's a huge gamble there. And if you do spend the money on him, he's going to be around £40 million, according to reports. £300,000 a week would put him at third or second, maybe third or fourth highest earners at Arsenal. He would, of course, need to take a significant wage cut if we're looking at this logistically. His contract expires June 2028. 4 goals and 1 assist in 15 games in the league. 1 goal, 1 assist in 6 games. So he's got not the best of returns in 7 GA in 21, which is roughly 1 in 3. But, you know, I just think there's too much of a gamble. Now, Romano come out and said that if there is opportunities available, that Arsenal will be optimistic in this market, which you kind of expect. You know, you kind of expect that from Arteta. managers always come out and say it's going to be quiet, but then all of a sudden, on deadline day, for instance, they register Sterling. Now, Arsenal lead the queue for Dani Olmo. This is going to be a very interesting situation. Of course, the Spanish court refused registration for Dani Olmo for Barcelona. It says Arsenal lead the queue. Arsenal could be busy this month with suggestions that they're also heading a lengthy Premier League queue to sign Dani Olmo. The Spanish forwards club's future has been thrown into fresh doubt after Barca saw attempts to register the summer signing denied by a court last week. This has led to plenty more transfer speculation now developing, with Mundo Deportivo suggesting that Arsenal are leading the race for this signature. Now, I think he'd be a phenomenal signing for Arsenal. I said this a couple of days ago. Romano has come out with literally an update about 2 minutes ago or 20 minutes ago saying, I understand Dani Olmo's position has not changed so far. That's the key word here. His situation has not changed so far. That's not to say that it couldn't change. Links in clubs of England, Italy, and Germany. He's currently only waiting for Barcelona. But if we're sitting here in 10 days' time and we're approaching halfway during the transfer window, and Arsenal, Liverpool, Juventus, Bayern Munich are all still an option, he's got to be thinking, well, hang on. If his contract gets ripped up, he could sign on a free. A lot of clubs won't, I don't think, will be in a position to offer huge signing on fees come March, April, or February. But if Barcelona are forced into a position, then surely they have to accept the bid. They can't register him right now. He only wants Barcelona. I understand, playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world. Of course, as a Catalonian, I believe himself, I think he is actually from Barcelona. I understand that's a massive thing for Catalonian players playing for essentially where you're from. Tell a lie, he's not actually a Catalonian. He's from Terrassa, which I believe is... Oh, actually, yeah, he's just outside Barcelona. So as a Catalonian, he's probably going to want that, but that might not be realistic. Now, the main thing about Arsenal right now is they need a striker. Victor Gyökeres has been heavily linked to Manchester United now. According to some reports, Man United have overtaken Arsenal in, potentially the destination for Swedish international Victor Gyökeres. A major battle for Gyökeres' services has been to be fought brewing. Of course, Ruben Amorim, the ex-Sporting manager, could he bring Victor Gyökeres to Manchester United? I think it's very unlikely this season that Man United get back into Europe. I think they need a season of kind of detoxing that squad, getting a lot rid of the deadwood. They're not in a position financially this month to go out and spend the 70, 80 million pounds on a Victor Gyökeres. Arsenal are in a position. I personally think Victor Gyökeres, if he's going to leave, he's going to be the summer. Paul Merson come out and he said on Sky Sports this morning that he believes Arsenal must break the bank to sign Alexander Isak. And I actually agree with him. Alexander Isak is going to be minimum in the summer, minimum 100 million. You're probably looking at more in the region of 120 million. Now, Arsenal have broke the bank before. They've gone out there and spent 100 million on Declan Rice, and I don't really hear anyone ever speaking about that price tag anymore. Alexander Isak, for me, at this moment in time, is the best striker in the Premier League. His overall game, the touches, the ability he's got on the ball, I think I'll be honest, I think he's the best striker in the right now, he may even be the best striker in the world. Victor Gyökeres may have something to say about that. But Paul Merson has said, here it is right now. I've actually found it. Arsenal should break the bank for Newcastle's Isak, says Paul Merson, who predicts that Trent Alexander-Arnold will be at Madrid next season, but will stay at Liverpool in the January window. Now, that's also another huge story. But I just think, imagine him in an Arsenal shirt. One, I don't even want to think about it because he's a world-class player. But two, hypothetically, if they brought in Alexander Isak, for me, that puts huge pressure on Liverpool that currently have a Virgil van Dijk contract situation up in the air, that currently have a Mohamed Salah, a Trent Alexander-Arnold, all these different things going on behind closed doors. Do Arsenal break the bank for Alexander Isak this month? And if they were, you're looking at this month probably £130 million to bring him to Arsenal. But then you've also got to look at the other side of it as well. If Newcastle finish in the Champions League or the Europa League, it also makes it even more difficult for Arsenal to get him out of their... it also makes it more difficult for Newcastle to sell him. When you look at his stats per 90, they're absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely ridiculous. You know, if you look at on the right, he's compared to players like Kylian Mbappe, Vinny Jr., Luis Openda, Omar Mamouche, who's been heavily linked to Arsenal and Liverpool, Kylian Mbappe, Harry Kane. You know, there's a lot of world-class talent on there. But his numbers are very, very good. His overall package, I think you put him up front alongside a Bukayo Saka, and then you've got Trossard, Havertz, Jesus, Wanyeri, who has now proven yesterday he could probably play in the front three as well. That they're in a very, very strong position, but it just depends how logistic. Can Arsenal afford it? £150 million is extortionate in this market. But then again, how many strikers out there right now are better than Alexander Isak? I don't think there. I'll be honest. I don't think there is one. I think right now he offers absolutely everything to what Arsenal need: the goals, the creation, the ability, the fact that he's available as well all the time. I think a lot of Arsenal fans would be over the moon with signing Alexander Isak. Now, one thing I don't think they'll be over the moon is Real Madrid are prepared to spend enormous amounts of money this summer. They're linked with Davis, they're linked with Trent Alexander-Arnold, and now they're linked with William Saliba. For me right now, outside Van Dijk, he's the best centre-back in Europe alongside Rudiger. Real Madrid's Premier League recruitment drive doesn't appear to be stopping at Trent Alexander-Arnold, with reports claiming they are earmarked with William Saliba as top target. The Frenchman has regarded as one of the best young central defenders in Europe. In fact, Spanish outlet Sports claim Los Blancos could launch a bid to sign Saliba at the end of the season. However, the reports say they would likely have to fork out at least 83 million, which would be a world record for a defender, eclipsing the 80 million Manchester United paid Leicester City for Harry Maguire. Now, Real Madrid have got a lot of aging centre-backs. They've got Rudiger, who's 32. They've got Alaba, who's 32. They got rid of Nacho in the summer. You know, they wanted Lenny Yoro. They don't have a huge amount of other centre-backs out there, you know, that are in that caliber of William Saliba. If they get Trent, look at William Saliba's contract situation. I think he only signed a deal last year, or it might be the year before. I think minimum of 100 million as well for William Saliba. He is a world-class centre-back. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes around it. He ticks all the boxes. And you've also got to think Tchouaméni at PSG, Tchouaméni at Real Madrid, Mbappe at Real Madrid, Camavinga at Real Madrid. A lot of his French teammates there already. Does that potentially turn his head a little bit? His contract expires June 30th, 2027. He's last signed a deal July the 7th, 2023. So I personally think that they will probably look to pin him down to a contract extension in the summer. But according to reports, he is valued at around 90 million euros. I think that's a little bit, I think that he needs to be higher than that, or 80 million euros, sorry. I think 100 million euros is roughly where he's at. But then, of course, that's not necessarily what Arsenal value him at. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video. Make sure you have subscribed to the channel. Let me know your thoughts down below on all the stories. That would be greatly appreciated. I will see you all in the next one. Thank you for watching. I am